I thought I was traveling through the world of One Punch Chapter 9. If it goes on like this, the Vest Venerable will lose. If you rush over now, it will be too late, and you must contact the hero near the mall as soon as possible. What to do? S-class heroes are too far away, Emperor Tong said anxiously while tapping on the keyboard. Wait, this is, inadvertently, Emperor Tong saw someone who was not an S-class hero, but should be able to support. Kitchen knife slashing man, ... somewhere at a crossroads. Hey, an unfamiliar number called, and Wuxiao picked up his mobile phone to answer it. Emperor Tong, he immediately recognized the other party's voice and wondered. So it is, Vest Venerable, I see. Under Emperor Tong's explanation, Wuxiao knew the general situation and then received the battle video. It's just that when he clicked on the file and saw the beginning of the video on his phone, his expression of not waking up was at least half refreshed. Wuxiao's face was full of question marks. If it just looks like it, the problem is that the blood-colored three-bladed sickle, coupled with that arrogant personality, looks like a ninja. No. 90% is the flying segment of the Xiao organization, right? The style of clothes on his body is similar to the one before joining the Xiao organization, which is particularly fashionable. But isn't Wuxiao in the world of One Punch Man? Where did this flying segment come from? Did he not sleep well last night? Misread. Wuxiao rubbed his eyes and looked again, and the result was still the same. Wang Difa. Wuxiao instantly calmed down, feeling an inexplicable numbness in his scalp. Who could explain to him what the situation was? Wuxiao directly fast-forwarded the video. His expression became more and more solemn. If there was a little doubt just now, now he is 100% confirmed. Bumping faces and weapons can be understood. Death division with blood, that kind of taboo ninjutsu, not to mention colliding. It is simply something that cannot exist in this world. Regardless of what happened, the man in the video is definitely a flying segment, and for some reason he has become a weirdo. The Vest Venerable who was fighting against him was undoubtedly caught in a bitter battle, and his life would be in danger if he was not careful. In a hurry, Wuxiao put many doubts to the back of his mind, reached out to stop a car, and had to rush to support. If the opponent is a flying section, he has a very high chance of winning. Little brother, where are you going? The taxi driver is a middle-aged uncle with a scumbag around his mouth. Fujiwara department store. Wuxiao said the address he got from Emperor Tong, and they were 2 or 3 kilometers away. I didn't dare to go to the little brother. I heard that there were weirdos haunted there. The driver's uncle shrunk his neck and looked afraid. Predictable. That uncle, please lend me your car to use. I am a professional hero. Wuxiao felt out the hero certificate in his trouser pocket and picked it up to show him. Hero, okay then. Successfully borrowed the car, Wuxiao drove, while using his mobile phone to contact Tong Dai, and put it in the front of the car. Are you sure to deal with that weirdo, kitchen knife slasher? Emperor Tong's childish and wise voice sounded in the car. There is no problem, but please contact the medical staff. The condition of the Vest Venerable does not seem to be very good. Wuxiao turned the steering wheel, passed a corner, and returned confidently. It's reliable, then I'll let them wait 500 meters away. Emperor Tong was half convinced, said with a smile, hung up the phone after speaking, and did not continue to disturb Wuxiao. The kitchen knife slashing man is a man who refuses to be promoted to S rank, and should not be blindly confident. Without knowing or saying much, he pressed the accelerator and increased the speed of the car several notches. Fujiwara department store. After a big war, it was almost in ruins. Phew. The Vest Venerable was half kneeling on the sidewalk outside the mall, panting heavily, and there were a few more hideous wounds on his body, and it was a miracle that he was still alive. However, this time, the other party did not use the previous weird moves, otherwise he would not have lasted so long, as if he intended to torture him. Chapter 15, The Righteous Knight. Chakra is all wasted by you, bastard. The flying section was equally miserable, with multiple bone misalignments and fractures in his body, but it didn't affect him much. After the weirdness, his physical strength has increased a lot, and he is more energy-consuming and active than the Vest Venerable. He raised his claws and approached step by step, came out to kill a few people, actually met such a difficult guy. It's time to make a conclusion. Go to hell, airplanes. Not long after the words fell, the sound of the car engine speeding was heard not far away. In a hurry, Fei Duan turned his head and looked, and the picture in front of him made his pupils contract instinctively. Wuxiao looked serious, stepped on the accelerator to death, and aimed at the flying section to create it. Bang! Fei Duan's mouth opened, vomiting blood uncomfortably, and his body was hit against the wall before stopping. Wuxiao pulled out a kitchen knife and immediately got out of the car. It's you. The Vest Venerable coughed, looked up with difficulty, and saw the kitchen knife slasher who had had a relationship in the conference room. Don't die so easily, Vest Venerable. Wuxiao's eyes were fixed on the flying section sandwiched between the front of the car and the wall, and said with a solemn expression. Damn, who are you, boy? Doing this to me? Are you ready to be unloaded by me, Fei Duan's attitude was rampant, and he gritted his teeth. Heroes of the Heroes Guild. Wuxiao gripped the kitchen knife, approached step by step, and said casually, pretending not to know. Although the flying section in front of him is weird, it really can't be real, and it is true at a glance. Judging from the reactions of the Vest Venerable and Emperor Tong, the two were very surprised and puzzled by the ability of the flying segment. This suggests that he most likely appeared recently. With Fei Duan's style of acting, if it existed in this world from the beginning, the people who were killed every day did not know how many would be. And they should have been valued by the Hero Association a long time ago, and then purged. How could he be allowed to mess around? Speaking of recently, Wuxiao also came to this world recently, and after thinking, he had a bold guess that he was not sure, this flight section will not be a traverser. Like the chaos in the time and space of this world, or some other cause of chaos. Wuxiao wanted to ask something from Fei Duan's mouth, but this idea was quickly vetoed by him. The so-called ninja is a ruthless person who cannot necessarily ask words through severe torture and illusion torture. Ordinary ninjas are like this, let alone members of the Xiao organization. The hero guild is the inhibition of weirdos, those who are a threat to the guild, but also to the ignorant. If the hero association falls, the weirdos run rampant, and the days of ignorance will definitely be difficult. No matter what, they will not let go of the flying segment. Moreover, he is now a weirdo, and he can still get skill points by killing. In the impression, in addition to physical weapons, Fei Duan will only die with blood. Judging from the surveillance video, it is still the same after weirdness. He cannot be an ignorant opponent. I don't care if you are heroic or not, give me death. Fei Duan sneered twice, swung his claws sharply, and directly broke the car that clamped his body, turned it into two halves. And kicked and flew. After regaining his freedom, the first thing he wants to kill is Wuxiao, and his dexterous tail is stabbed out extremely quickly, wanting to penetrate the opponent's heart. Before that, the vest venerable behind him gasped and kindly reminded Wuxiao, be careful with the kitchen knife and chop the man, don't let him get your blood, that guy will use strange tricks. After saying that, his physical strength was exhausted, his voice gradually decreased, his eyelids became heavier and heavier, and he fainted on the ground. Wuxiao didn't care, generously stepped forward, raised the kitchen knife to fight back. Even if he slashed with a knife, he had accumulated a lot of experience. At least the accurate head was very stable. Shake. What is this? Coquetry. Fei Duan's tail was cut out of a small wound. He glanced at it with disdain, couldn't help but mock, and continued to stab forward. However, what he got was an amazing result, and Fei Duan was so shocked that he forgot his next move for a while. How is it possible? Quote. The human body, which looked weak and could not help the wind, abruptly blocked his attack, not even breaking the layer of skin, only piercing a hole in his clothes. Don't you know a word? Anything is possible. Wuxiao teased, taking the opportunity to close the distance, and inserted the kitchen knife straight into the chest of the flying section. Connecting the outer bone shell together, penetrating through. Bastards under 3 abuses. Fei Duan was furious, and slapped a paw at Wuxiao's head. It only takes a drop of blood to make this guy finished, and then he has to kneel down and beg for mercy. And die in the torment of pain. Ideas are always beautiful, but reality is cruel. Wuxiao ignored it, slammed the claw strike of the flying section, and at the same time pulled out the kitchen knife and stabbed the second knife. Why? Fei Duan was stunned on the spot, dumbfounded. Is this guy really human? There was a faint coolness behind him, and the body began to feel cold. Could it be a psychological effect? And he was afraid. Fei Duan looked irritable, jumped back a few steps, and almost didn't stand firm. My blood? The sight in front of him made his eyes widen when so much blood had been shed on the ground. Subconsciously looking at the wounds everywhere in his body, plasma quickly gushed out as if repelling his body. What did you do to me? Fei Duan looked up at Wuxiao and said with a glimpse of his teeth. It doesn't matter to you anymore. Wuxiao's face was as cold as snow, and his eyes were as if he was looking at a dead person. In the brief confrontation with Fei Duan just now, he slashed and stabbed twice, for a total of 3 knives. In other words, in the next hour, the bleeding rate of the flying segment will become 4 times that of normal. During the battle with the Vest Venerable, he was seriously injured and lost a lot of blood, and now he can't support it for long. Although an immortal body is powerful, when all the blood in his body passes, he will become a dry corpse, and then he will feel extremely cold and his body will be stiff. In this situation, even if the flight segment is still alive, it is unlikely that it will retain its mobility, and it will still be at the mercy of others. Abominable, abominable, abominable. Fei Duan covered the wounds on his body to prevent them from flowing out, and his tone became anxious. I can't stop it. In a panic, an idea flashed in his brain. Even if he planted it, he would definitely pull a cushion. Fei Duan's eyes swept and looked at the Vest Venerable who fell to the ground. As long as he was hit hard again, he specified that he would not survive. You give me death. Fei Duan was dying, desperately running in the direction of the Vest Venerable. Anyway, there was no way back. Cut. Wuxiao was at a loss for a while. Speed was his shortcoming, there was no time to stop it, and he did not expect that the flying section would suddenly engage in this play. Wake up, Vest Venerable. Wuxiao shouted helplessly, trying to wake up the other party, but there was no response. First chapter previous